Instructions for accessing subtitles in a language other than English are included on our board meetings webpage as well as in the description below. Instrucciones para acceder a los subtítulos en un idioma que no sea el inglés se incluyen en nuestra página web de reuniones de la Junta, así como en la descripción a continuación.
All right. Good evening. It is February 13th, 2024, and this is the Ross Valley School Board of Trustees special meeting. It is 4:34, and I will call the meeting to order. The first item on our agenda today is procedural items. We have the Pledge of Allegiance and a democratic reflection. I don't know if anyone would like to say something. Seeing nothing, I will move on, and we will do our Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand and join me if you wish. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. The next item is we get to adopt the agenda and time allocations. So I will entertain a motion.
I will make a motion to adopt the agenda and time allocations.
Second.
All right, motion and second. Chris?
Aye.
Shelley?
Aye.
Ryan?
Aye.
Daniel?
Aye.
All right, we have an agenda and time allocations. Oh, and me. Aye, Rachel. Yes. Sorry. Yes, I vote aye. Thank you. Sorry. All right, and now on to C, presentation and action items. So we have a superintendent search process. I have Donald Evans here in front of us, and we have Mark on the phone as well. So, and they're with Leadership Associates. I'll let you go ahead with your presentation.
Sure, thank you. Good evening, board. Can you hear me? Or I don't even know if this is on. Is it on now or is it on?
I think it's mostly for recording, but we can hear it. Yeah.
Okay. So, again, good evening, everyone. So, I know that all of you have received a packet, and so I'm going to go through most of that this evening. So, we'll review the entire search process, and as we go through each section, feel free to ask any question that you might have on anything in that section. So why don't we just start with the timeline? And so as we go through the timeline, we'll confirm some of the dates that we have for each one of these. And so one of the things I want to say is that by getting started early, we get ahead of the curve because everybody's now coming out, or superintendents are announcing that they are leaving and so forth. So we are out in front of the curve. So I just want to say that. So this is great. So let's start with number 2. So establish and adopt the final timeline. So we've already started the search. We've already posted on our website, and as I said at the board meeting, we have over 1,100 subscribers, so that's already out and it's already generated some interest. We have a posting for EdCal, which will be February the 26th and March the 4th. Okay. And I understand that your winter vacation is February the 19th to the 23rd. Okay. All right. So I'm going to move to affirm the following dates for the stakeholders input sessions. So we're recommending that we meet with the education partners February 26th, 27th, and 28th. How are those dates for you all? Yes.
Have we checked in with administration on any regular meeting dates of constituency groups that are already set? Teresa, I'm looking over to you.
I think we have a meeting that 29th, the last date in February.
Of the Superintendent's Council or something? I'm just looking at Teresa in terms of whether we can leverage any existing
Meetings.
Equity Committee, Superintendent's Council, roundtables, those kinds of things.
We have a school board meeting on the 28th.
Yeah, I don't see anything that's on the equity committee or anything else on those dates.
And usually how that works
Yes.
is that, and we can actually do it on Zoom, or we actually can be here in person. And sometimes we're doing both. And we work with Teresa in terms of setting up that schedule and just time allotments for each group. And then they can decide what they want to meet us in person, or they may want to do it on Zoom. But we found that for some reason, a lot of folks have loved doing Zoom. It seems like we're getting more participation than in person, but we want to offer that as well.
Most of these groups consist of parents. And so often the Zoom choice is often the most flexible. I think it's an option to offer, but I'm gonna just defer to just putting maybe just out the feelers for it. But I mean, I know that we get more attendance when we do Zoom, when we have the like the Parent Equity Task Force, for example, things like that.
Right.
Right, exactly. Donald,
Yes. I hear you.
can everyone hear me? I just wanted to, first of all, thank you all for allowing Donald and I to be with you in separate locales. My only thought regarding the stakeholder input days, if any one or all three of those days work for you, then the schedule we'll put together will be, we'll work that out, with Teresa and with Marcy, and we'll be able to provide alternatives to a lot of the stakeholder groups over those 3 days. We sort of work closely with them because they know your schedule, they know activities that are going on during the day, and what we want to do is maximize the opportunity for everyone, if they so choose, to share input. In terms of putting those together and putting Zoom links out and all that, Teresa will work real closely with Serena in being able to do that. But we always like to give a little bit of time in advance because we don't want to surprise anybody. We want to be able to get that schedule out to people and get them signed up so they have some time, to think about their schedule. But if we did a mixture of in-person as well as Zoom, we pretty much cover the gamut, and we have found that we've had very good participation. We also will be offering meetings, around 5 o'clock or 6 o'clock or even maybe 7 o'clock. A lot of times people are working, they can't get to a meeting, they're community members, and there are what we call forums that we invite them to do at that time. And, we've had a varying amount of participation, but the community seems to appreciate the flexibility. Donald, I just wanted to share that a little bit regarding that. But what we're really looking for is, do those days in general work for you guys?
The only question I have is if you're looking to confer with staff in the community to receive input on the type of characteristics that they're looking for in a candidate, in that timeline, did someone say something? And that timeline is at the end of February, and then you're identifying potential candidates in February and March. How are you putting that information that you're gathering into that candidate search to ensure that the right people are coming forward that have the characteristics that we're looking for?
So,
go ahead.
So once we meet with the stakeholders, we've already gathered all that information, and so we use that in the prescription, the executive summary and our position description, which I'll go over, later on in the meeting. It's a little farther down.
Okay.
So once we get that, so we already have it out there that the position is open, but they don't know exactly everything about the district. But as soon as we get that, we fly that out right away.
Okay, so that's folded into that immediately, so that the candidate pool starts to reflect that.
That's
Okay,
right.
all right, thank you. That was my only question I have from reading this.
That's a good question, yes.
Thank you.
And so those 3 days, like, I don't see an issue with them as far as the calendar stuff that I have. Not for me personally, but just as far as the district. But it sounds like you're saying those are throughout the day. Is that how early do you generally
That's
start
exactly
those?
it. It's throughout the day.
Throughout the day, okay.
So we'll start, usually we start about 9 o'clock, and we'll go to about 5 o'clock, and then we'll offer like a forum at night for 7, like usually around 7 o'clock, usually on Zoom or in person for parents to come in. And I can say it just depends on the district. Sometimes we get a lot of people that will attend the in-person, and some, nobody.
Could you do something
And something on
each
Zoom.
mornings at the schools at
We
like
could.
around drop?
It's
I'm making
whatever
this
you
up.
want.
Okay,
Mhm.
8 a.m. to 9 or something. If somebody's able to make
Absolutely.
it early, or
Absolutely.
a couple of schools, just okay.
Now remember, we're also doing the survey that will go out, and a lot of parents will do that because it's the same questions, and we get a lot of feedback
And
from
what
that
about
survey.
teachers? What about teachers and principals?
Same thing.
Same thing.
Same thing. And so later on, I'm going to go through all the education partners, and you can just add to that list,
Great.
and then we can set up a time for all those.
Do we give feedback on the survey now, or do we wait?
We wait for that.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry,
So
it's my first time at this.
Oh, no. These are great questions. No. We
Okay.
look.
Not a problem.
We just
Not a
taking our
problem.
time. We're going through this with you.
This
Yes.
is such an easy process.
You're the only one
And I can just share with you what works and what doesn't work, what we found success doing and so forth.
That's why
like
we
that.
hired you.
Yeah.
Let us know if we're suggesting
Get our
something
money's
that's
worth.
That's right.
But you don't wanna do that.
But the surveys, a lot of people love the surveys because they don't want to, meet on Zoom, and a lot of people like to be anonymous, but they want to participate. So
Okay.
you were saying something about the 3 days.
I don't see an issue with the 3 days as far as our scheduling goes.
Okay.
I don't see conflicting meetings for other organizations.
Okay.
The only thing I would say is we'd have to get the announcement out ASAP
Because it's
a lot
2
of people
weeks.
are,
That's right.
because we got a break next week.
That's right.
And so
Right.
communication while people are
Sure.
not.
And then we have a board meeting that Wednesday night. Do we want to reintroduce one of these components to that school board meeting for public comment?
We don't normally do that.
Okay, great. Just
We're
tell
gonna
us
have
no.
plenty of opportunity to provide input.
Great, just good. Move on.
Okay,
Okay.
great.
All right.
Yeah, we give them a lot of opportunities, and so and then also Serena will be working with you, Teresa, in terms of what should go on the website. So we'll have somebody working with you, so you don't have to worry about that.
Right. And Donald, in terms of the question regarding the ASAP, I'm going to have a conversation with Serena tomorrow, and Serena is going to get the information we get or glean from you today, and she will immediately be reaching out to Teresa and to be putting together that invite schedule. So they're going to get it in advance.
Great,
Yeah,
great, wonderful,
that turnaround is so fast.
great.
Any other questions?
So does anybody see any conflicts with those 3 days?
Am I allowed to ask?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do the board members attend these
No.
input forms? Okay.
No. So we'll have our own meeting with you. So you don't need to attend any of the other meetings. And then it's interesting because what I've found that a lot of the stakeholders don't want you there. They want to be able to speak freely to us. And we get a lot of information, good, the bad, the ugly. So by the time we leave, we will know everything about Ross Valley. We will know everything about this place.
So I do have a conflict on the 27th. I have another board meeting.
But you don't have to be involved.
But yeah.
I don't have to be there.
But you don't have to
be involved.
It's just you two, right?
No.
No, not even us.
No, not even us.
But
No, we
it's
don't
just
want
more about the
stakeholders.
community
We want
members.
stakeholders.
When can the teachers be available?
And the process is kind of like outside the box. It's my understanding, we're gonna give him a lot of direction of what we think we look for.
Mhm.
And they're gonna take our direction, and then they're going to go do their work, what we pay them for. And they're gonna whittle that down and distill that down, and by the time all the stuff is done, then they will come back to us to
That's
present
right.
what they think their best candidates will be.
That's
At
right.
which time we would probably be able to give them some feedback and have them go back and distill it again. And then they'll probably bring back the people. So it's better if we aren't involved in that process because it gives them the ability to do their job and brings us the ability to be hands-off.
You had me at no.
Yeah.
So,
Boy, did I like that comment.
but there is a piece where we'll need you, and I'll get to that a little later. So those dates work for everyone, and so Serena will work with you, Teresa, in terms of scheduling and sending everything out to the partners, which we'll finalize in a little bit. So the other thing I wanted to mention was, so after we're doing all that, in the meantime, we got to set a deadline for the application, and so we're looking at March 15th as the deadline for applications. So right now, we'll get people who are already interested, and then once we do that, position description and executive summary, we'll put that out, and then they'll apply. And so they'll be ready for the applications. Folks who are interested in being superintendents, they're pretty much ready. They're getting their letters of recommendation, all that stuff, and many of them already have all of that because they already know they're ready to be a superintendent.
Is there a number that you say we have the right amount? I mean, it's like throwing a party and no one comes. I'm assuming we're going to get applicants.
Oh, you'll get applicants.
But I mean,
You're going to get a lot of applicants.
you may what?
You're going to get a lot of applicants.
There's a lot of applicants.
Which
Okay.
are
You're going to get a lot of applicants. yes.
Okay, great.
And it depends,
But Donald, let me, that was a very good question. I think it's because you just don't know. Typically, we will see anywhere between 15 and maybe 25 applications.
Yeah.
Not all of them will be at the level you are looking for, but you're going to have quite a few, and I don't think Donald doesn't anticipate having any problem bringing to you some recommendations for highly qualified candidates. You should be in good shape.
Okay, great.
And that's a question we always get because everybody's worried. Will we get, good candidates? And I don't see that as a problem at all.
So the deadline for applications March 15th. That's only 2 weeks, 3 weeks after you meet with all the educational partners and community members. Those conversations, that's not whittling down the applicant pool before the 15th, but is the 15th too soon from an advertisement perspective, or is this what anticipated superintendents know mid-March is the typical time for deadlines?
So right now, we send out something right away. It's like, who's interested?
Yeah.
So we'll have all that already, who's interested. And then we send out an application, they're ready.
Okay.
So that's enough time.
And Donald, I think that, again, is a very, very good question. Typically, we run these, open advertisements for about 4 weeks, maybe 6. What we're trying to do here, we can move that a little later, but we're trying to you're in a prime spot right now because there are many searches going on. And there will be some competition for some of the top candidates. And if we're able to move somewhat expeditiously, they're going to be looking. Right now, they're looking. And as Donald said, this opening already has been not only placed on our website, but it's been sent out to all of our membership. Those people, candidates throughout California already know about the opening in Ross Valley. So I think that we can do it, and my feeling is it's right in the prime time, but we just don't want to fall behind some of these other districts.
Yeah, I was just sharing. I got a call on my way here. So it's out there.
Okay.
Any other questions?
So we have another school board meeting on March 27th, and you want to do a special meeting, a closed session, the week of March 25th. So we'd have to figure out a time that works for us that week.
Right.
Or do we add, or do we back
It's a
to back?
3-hour
It's a
closed
3-hour meeting, I
session.
just looked at that.
Hello, okay.
Yeah. I don't think we could back to back it on our regular board meeting night.
So either that Monday or Tuesday night, the 25th or 26th.
Yeah, probably.
Oh, you're looking at the application review?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'll move right to the application review. So what works for you? Let me look at my schedule here.
March 25th is a Monday?
Yep.
Monday, yeah, it's tech week for White Hills play.
Oh, fun.
Yeah.
20, Monday, Tuesday, and then our regular meeting's on that Wednesday.
Yeah.
Is there advantage to doing it before or after our regular meeting?
The only concern that I would have after a regular meeting would be, it would make a long, I mean, I don't.
Oh, no,
No,
the day
I
after,
don't,
the day
I don't
after.
mean
Oh,
at
day
the
after.
same
Yeah, the day
time, I
after.
meant like on the
Oh,
third.
the day after.
Yeah, I meant like on the
I thought you meant.
No,
I
no,
Yeah.
no, I meant the Thursday or Friday after that meeting versus doing it the Monday or Tuesday before that meeting.
It's still the week of the 25th, it's just, it might be a little bit
Mhm.
easier with everyone's schedules.
What day are you thinking?
Possibly the 28th, March 28th, the Thursday.
Yeah.
There's nothing on the calendar.
That day works for me.
Right?
What about you?
Probably,
Probably.
just trying to get through the 5th.
Yeah, but. What are we we're looking at the, what date?
For a special board meeting.
Yeah, instead of the 25th, what about Thursday the 28th? Does that work for you?
Mark?
Yeah, well, I think I could make it work. I just have to move some things around, but I can make it work.
Anybody else on the board?
Yeah, that works for
Make
me.
it work out.
I can do the 26th or the
Really?
28th.
What is, just out of curiosity, what does the, well, never mind. I think, the 28th. 28th can work.
26th or the 28th?
What time were you thinking of starting?
That's 3 hours?
About this time?
Yeah, about this time would be good.
I mean, what about, I don't know what our agenda is on the 28th, if there's any, I'm just trying to think sequencing, whether it would be good to just have this done before that meeting, or, I'm good either the 26th or the 28th.
Yeah, I think it's separate out of the board meeting because we're going to be looking at the actual applications and whittling down and having a conversation about
Yeah.
who they've
Each
talked
one.
to. So it would be separate from
Yeah.
a typical board meeting.
No, yeah.
So before or after is fine.
Do you guys care whether it's 26th or 28th?
No, it doesn't have to me.
Yeah, if we close on the 15th, we can get it ready for you on the 26th. Yeah.
So we're thinking the 26th?
Is there anything after this process that we would want more or less time that would dictate like, hey, let's do it on a Tuesday to give you the rest of that week to do something versus doing it on a Thursday?
After that is the interviews.
After that is the interviews that we're involved in.
Mm-hmm.
And you are, yes, we'll get to that in a minute.
So if we did it on a Thursday, the 28th, then would the interviews be the following week? Whereas if we did it on a Tuesday, the 26th, would we start interviews the after
So we have,
Friday?
we're looking at right now, and this can change, April the 13th or April the 20th in terms of interview.
Depending on when your spring break is.
Yes.
It's the 8th through the 12th.
This is a Saturday. It would be a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
On a Saturday.
And we've done Saturdays and Sundays.
So our spring break is the 8th through the 12th.
And I'm
Yeah.
I'm out of the country
Yeah,
until Sunday night.
I might be traveling as well.
How
You want to look at the 20th?
April 20th?
Yeah, I
Are
think
you
that-
still out of the country the 20th?
That would probably work best.
Yeah,
for
me
me.
too.
Is it Battle of the Bands is that night, I don't know, at 4.
Well, if it's a
Well, if
Saturday,
it's-
we could do it
if you're
earlier,
during the
right?
day, yeah.
Did we already close the
the
loop
loop on
on the original one,
No.
the week of March 25th?
We didn't, we were just wondering
We were-
whether it
yeah.
would be better to do it on the Tuesday
Or the
or the
Thursday.
Thursday, given what's next in
Mhm.
line. So it doesn't sound like it really matters because
It
we're
wouldn't
gonna have a
matter,
break
either one.
that week for the spring break afterwards.
Well, if we did the 28th, it would be closer when we do interviews, which might be
Sure,
better. I don't know.
yeah,
We'll do the
let's do the 28th.
Okay.
So we change this to 28th, okay.
And just a logistics question, do we have a preemptive look-through at the applications prior to
Yeah.
the meeting?
Yes,
Okay.
you do.
Does that include video?
Not the video, we don't do
sorry.
the, we don't have a video. We give you a binder with each of the candidates
Okay.
so that you can look through every one of them.
Great, make notes and all
And when
that.
we come to
Right.
you, we will,
And
go ahead.
Go ahead.
And you will get an electronic binder. You'll have a portal. Serena will load all of the applications into that. And you will have an opportunity to go through those applications. And you'll also have an opportunity to, to get our recommendations as well. So in terms of every application, it will be loaded electronically into a portal for you.
And you guys aren't doing a quick 1 minute, 2 minute video recording for candidates?
Having them do those?
Yeah.
So we interview them, but we do not video them.
No, just themselves.
Answering your
Their own Zoom question. Hey, RSVD, I'm really excited to meet you guys. I'm a candidate. This is the two things I'm most concerned about. Bam. And a lot of companies are now just doing video, quick, succinct video.
We have not done that, but I
Okay.
do like that idea.
It's really
I love that
it's
idea.
really effective in for many types of searches.
Also, is there a consideration for doing this blind?
I have a question regarding that. Are you referring to a video clip, a quick video clip that every candidate submits? Is that what you're doing?
Yeah.
You're talking about?
That's what
Yeah.
I'm referring
You're
to.
not talking about the finalists, you're just talking about everybody doing that.
Yeah, here's my paper, here's my 7-page CV, here's my 14 pages of letters of recommendation. Everybody says I'm great. Okay.
Here's my 2-minute
Here's my
elevator pitch.
2-minute
Right.
video that answers the following 2 questions.
Yeah, we have never done it that way.
Okay.
I'm not saying it's not with.
That doesn't mean they can't do it that way.
It's a change in
Yeah, we
protocol,
just haven't done it.
but that is not typically, we know more about the candidates than they're gonna want to, than they probably know about themselves. When we come to you, because we talk to a lot of people who know them, not only their references, but also those that they haven't put down. In terms of the video clip, it's an interesting, something, Donald, we might want to bring up to, at one of our steering committee meetings, but we have never done that.
Is there
Ryan, what do you mean blind?
yeah, I was gonna say, in my business for real estate, people used to write letters and include pictures of the family and say, "This is our little family, and we really want to live here." And in essence, it creates bias, unseen bias. And so,
Yeah.
I like the idea of throwing the idea out there of a blind submission where we see the qualifications and we see all the writing. You can say if it's male or female, but maybe that's about it. And so
Yeah.
if we end up picking somebody, it's not, or going through finalists before the interview process, that it's not a process that can be biased by those type of video things that we're talking about.
Yeah.
We have bias, inherent or not, it's there. And so,
Mhm.
and we are a very, I think it's very natural to want to, make sure that we are reaching out to all candidates across all ethnicities and all disabilities. And I think we all want that. I'm very confident that that's the player pool we're looking for. But I also, in order to protect ourselves, think that it's certainly a consideration to be making decisions blind based on merit and answers without actually having data. And I'd like to consider that.
Let me just add a little bit to that because those are very, very good comments. What we are trying, you're looking for an executive leader. You're looking for someone who's going to bring to the table a variety of skills with a variety of experiences. The superintendent position is a very political position, and it's a position where there are many, many different, individuals that weigh in and have different opinions. I have to think a little bit about this video thing because I think it does.
Move on, don't worry about it. It's not what you guys do, we're good.
Yeah, I think those are good points. Well, we're going to try to bring an unbiased look. You're going to have a lot of information to look at.
So one of the things that we will do is you will have electronic copy of all the resumes, the applications, their letters, the intent, all that. You'll have that. But what we will do is give you that background information on all of it that's not in there. And we will also tier them on what we think is what a tier 1 looks like, a tier 2, and a tier 3. And that's through the vetting and the whole process that you will not have.
Can I ask you a question on the tiering? Your input, as you start to vet these candidates, will that be something that you'll provide in a write-up just in terms of your opinion about this person and what your thoughts are?
So we haven't provided that in writing.
Mm-hmm.
But when we get in closed session,
You'll be able to.
oh yes.
Okay.
So we'll have it all written down.
Yeah.
Usually we write it all down
Great,
and say
thank
this is why we think this person is, let's say, a tier 1 candidate and not, let's say, a tier 3.
Great. Thanks.
We'll have all that for you.
So it looks like we were talking about that Saturday, April 20th for a board interview candidates.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
And your recommendation here is that this is venue is away from the district office?
Yeah.
Okay. And it says all day meeting. What hours are we looking at there? Just
Oh, it's all day from till it can go. We try to start around 8:30, bringing candidates in around 9. But we go through the whole process with you at 8 o'clock, and then we probably start at 9, and then we can go all the way till, let's say, 5. And then, of course, you're going to have to talk about all the candidates, and then there might be someone you want to bring back, maybe 2. And you may be tired at the end, and you may say, let's carry this over to Sunday. That's why we do 2 days. And you could be torn between 2 candidates, and you may want to take the time overnight to think about it. Because sometimes it gets down to where you got 2 really, really, really good candidates.
We need some time in there. We flew down. Ann flew down to go to LA to, do a follow-up with Dr. Bagley. I wouldn't want to pigeonhole us into making a decision based on seeing the last day without being able to stretch that out.
Mm-hmm.
So we're agreeing Saturday, April 20th for those interviews?
the Saturday interviews. I mean, that's
Saturday, Sunday, April
Saturday,
21st sounds
Saturday,
like.
Sunday. So we need to agendize both those days then?
You will have to agendize them, yes.
Special meetings, okay.
So you have April 20th and the 21st. And then you have to think about a place where you want to have the interviews. And like he had said, we try to keep it away from the district office because you don't want people to, see who's coming in and out.
Right.
Okay.
Maybe a conference room at a hotel, maybe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Radar Garden Center,
Yeah, maybe Dominican University or something.
Dominican,
Yeah.
or the
Really?
Theological
Would you
Society might have
Yeah.
some rooms in San Anselmo.
I like Dominican.
Yeah, I
We
might
could
be able
do
to,
that.
I could probably get something.
You might be able to get something at Dominican, yeah.
So we'll sort out a location later on.
Yeah.
So that pushes the next thing in April, the week of April 15th. That pushes things because we're starting on April 20th for our board interviews.
What?
So for the April-May, the week of April 15th, since we're not doing the interviews on April 13th, we're doing it the 20th. We're gonna have to push that back.
It's the week of April 22nd. Then.
I am gone April 25th through May, like 4th, I believe.
So do we all agree on April the 20th and the 21st?
Mm-hmm. 15th.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
And on that date, Donald, about how many candidates are we going to see that day?
It's up to you, but we usually see about no more than 6.
Okay.
So once we get all the applications, you'll tell us how many you want to see.
Okay.
Right. We would recommend that you don't exceed 6
Got it. Got it.
or the number we've had boards look at 4. Many boards look at 5.
It's okay, Mark. We got it.
sorry.
Here's the
You
other
can't
thing.
see our expressions. We're like, okay.
So the first round of interviews, which will be that first day, the second round, you can ask them questions that, let's say, you want to follow up on something they said the first day. And you're not going to bring back, all 6. You're going to bring back the 2 that you're really considered. Or you may just have one candidate that just stands out that you all agree.
So do you tell them to stay for the weekend?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And they don't know who's getting called back for that Sunday?
You'll tell us after the first day
Oh, interesting.
which ones
Okay.
that you want to bring back.
Okay.
So,
We'll try to get you to whittle it down to
It's like a
2.
Broadway musical. Callbacks.
all right, so,
So we'll call them that night.
Okay.
all right, so if it's the 20th and the 21st, and it looks like the 22nd, that Monday would be the best to interview them, so they're not stuck here like waiting like Monday or Tuesday.
So you'll
Rest of the
probably
weekend.
decide the 21st. So once you bring them back for that second interview, you'll make a decision at night. That's typically how it's done.
And then this thing that says week of April 15th, complete the validation process of the leading candidate.
So
What's
that's
that?
something that we used to do, but you don't see it that much anymore, especially after COVID, where you have a finalist, this is the person that you want to bring out, now you want to go and do a site visit. And depending on where they are, you'll arrange all of this.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, you'll arrange this and you'll go down, let's say, I'm making this up, hopefully we won't have anybody from LA, but let's say it's LA, then you'll have to fly all the way down to that site if you want, and they'll set up times, places where you can meet, the administration, all the people that they might have for you to meet, just to get a feel for this person in their environment. You want to add anything to that? And that's usually when you choose the finalists.
Like we've selected our finalist, our top choice, and then we go and, okay, so we just basically on personal vetting.
Or you may just want to send 1 or 2 people down. But we're not seeing many boards do that anymore. But it is an option, that you might want to consider, so that you feel comfortable with this person.
Do you, for that reason or for any other reason, suggest having a period of time between the day after you do the interviews, you're feeling like, okay, we want this person, like hey, sleep on it for X number of days, or give time, oh yeah, I forgot to do or I really have this other question, like to have a period of time of 3 days a week, or before you actually
You guys have some
vote?
really good questions because it's going to get out there. Once you select that finalist, it's, people are
Don't
going
want
to
to leave that
know,
much time.
so you don't have a whole lot
Okay.
of time to get all this stuff going because they want to know who you selected,
Got
of
it.
course, right?
Right.
You don't
Did
want
you
to lose
want,
them.
yeah.
Mark?
Mark, you get ready to say something?
No, I was just going to agree that at the end of the interview, you guys are going to be really excited about one candidate, maybe 2. You're going to have a second interview with them, and at that point, you're going to need to reach a consensus as to who will become your finalist. But if you've got good candidates, some of these might be in other searches or be considering other searches. But all candidates that we invite or that you invite to an interview are prepared to accept the position if offered,
That's right.
and are within their contract parameters. So, as Donald said, you want to move quickly. You don't want to go into a period where you are thinking about a candidate. You need to make a decision one way or the other.
So April 21st, that's Sunday, we in theory, we have the best candidate we've agreed upon. when do we notify that candidate? What's the next step from that to notify the public, and how does that play out then?
What normally happens is after the second interview, you deliberate and you make a decision. And then once the decision comes in, that candidate is there, meaning they're in the area.
Mm-hmm.
We call that person back and we let that person know that they are the finalists. And they will return that day, or if you have it over 2 days, then, the next day, or maybe it's the next day that you tell them. But they will come back and they will meet with you. And at that point, you know them, you're excited. Hopefully, I'm sure they're very excited as well. And then you just have to iron out the parameters of the contract. And when I say the parameters, I'm just talking about the elements. You're not looking at a contract per se, but we will be identifying what those parameters are, and then you will just need to meet and agree or negotiate in that point. And we are part of that with you. So it goes really smoothly because they know the parameters, but some of the questions that they're going to probably have will be things like moving expenses if they're coming from a long distance away, maybe staff development, that they would want included in their contract. But the salary and benefits pretty much are within a close range. But we're a part of that. And they come back that same day, and ideally when you end, you've got yourself your finalist.
And so that's usually like Sunday night too.
Yeah, that's
So that would
the
be the
21st.
21st.
Yeah.
Is when you're doing
Okay.
it.
Can I ask a question about benefits? I know some districts in Marin have offered subsidized loans or 0% interest loans on $500,000. How does the district, how do those decisions get made as far as what benefits we're providing?
That's all negotiated. That's after the fact though. So if you want to offer, let's say, that type of compensation and benefits, you can negotiate that during, it would happen after the fact, after they got the job.
How do we wrap our heads around these types of salaries and benefits? Is there a...
So what I've actually done is look at what the salaries are around here and the ADA size of the district. And so I have a range of what superintendents are making. And so what we do is we put out a range. We don't say this is what you're going to make.
Yeah, I get that, yeah. But we should give you the range.
Right, so I have an idea of what people are making across the district. So I know it's anywhere between $230,000 to $290,000.
Yeah.
And so, and you can give us the range if you feel comfortable with that, or you may want to go higher than that.
Right. Okay.
But we can say that's about the range.
So I guess my question to you, Donald, is when do we and how do we have those conversations about what is the compensation package, the loan only, free interest loans on housing or whatever, like free dog care? What?
Okay, Donald, let me take a stab at this. We're happy to show you the parameter sheet that we give to the interviewed candidates. So let's say you identify 6 people you want to interview. Each one gets a bunch of information from us, and part of that information packet is a parameter sheet. They're going to lift down. They sometimes ask us to help them about filling in that parameter sheet, and it includes about 7, 8, or 9 different items. One of the items that is not on that sheet, though, this item that you brought up regarding interest-free loans and whatever, that is not part of our typical discussion with the superintendent. Now, if that's to come up, we will bring that to your attention if a superintendent is particularly looking for an interest-free loan.
I just know when Mill Valley was doing their search years ago, that was one of the benefits they were providing one of their candidates.
But it sounds like the candidates bring forward these parameters of what they might be looking forward, and then you come to us and say, hey, I've got a candidate, they're really good, but they've said they might want some of this or whatever.
But we'll have that, when we send out this parameter list, we'll know. And so at that time, we'll bring it up. Particularly if that's the person that you want.
Great. So we have our interviews 20th, 21st. Hope we find like an ideal candidate, and we say, yeah, we want to go with this person. The week of April 20, well, it says April 15th, but it would be obviously the week of April 22nd now with our timing shifting a little bit.
Right.
Where the board completes the validation process and the leading candidate makes a final determination. What does that actually mean?
That was the
I mean,
visiting thing,
the visit. So that's
Donald,
the visiting part.
did you want me to take a crack?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead? Yeah.
I think.
Is that the
I'm just
visiting
pulling
part
my
where we
stuff.
go visit them?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure.
Exactly. Most boards will go through a process by which either representatives from the board, maybe it's 2 members from the board, maybe it's the entire board. Sometimes boards have even brought members of their bargaining associations with them. But the candidate who is your finalist is, and remember, by that time, you've pretty much hammered out the parameters. Everything is pretty much put to bed. You're really in the process of finalizing this. But you would like to go and see that person, wherever he or she is, in their own setting.
Mm-hmm.
And they set up an opportunity, usually it's about a half a day. You go there and you have an opportunity to meet with stakeholder groups that the superintendent has set up for you. There is people that'll come and talk to you a little bit about this individual person. So you get a chance to sort of meet. You don't talk to the candidate at all. You just talk to stakeholder groups and people. Maybe it's a teachers union. Maybe it's the parent group.
The cabinet group.
And it gives you a flavor for how well liked and how well that person has fit into that older community, the former community.
But
it's more of a validation of.
Yeah.
it sounds more like a transition process than a choice process, because by then hopefully there aren't any like new things that you learn on that thing. It's more of like, okay, how are we gonna work, like starting to build the working relationship maybe or something like that in terms
And
of
you just get to see how that person operates in their own setting.
A lot of boards use it to build cohesion among your various stakeholders.
Yeah.
For example, you can bet that when you pick a candidate, and that means, public, in a matter of seconds, your teacher union president is going to be on the line with their teacher union president to find out what they think of this person. So it's a good way to sort of soften that, to invite them, to get a chance to meet with them. And what are we looking for? We're looking for someone that you're getting that they don't want to lose. That's basically what you're doing.
Oh, right.
These folks don't want to lose this, but they know, and if this person's an assistant superintendent, or maybe even a superintendent in a smaller district, or maybe a district in a different area geographically, they don't want to lose this person, and that's who the kind of people you're going to be talking with. So ideally, that's how the process goes.
Speaking of people picking up the phone and calling people, is it public knowledge who the finalists are? How is that? How does that work?
That is determined by you and the candidate and the finalist. Sometimes a finalist.
No, I'm not talking about the finalist. I'm not talking about the finalist. I'm talking about if we interview 4 or 5 people, are the people that we're interviewing publicly?
No.
No, that's not public knowledge. Okay, that's what I was
Highly confidential.
Highly confidential.
Is why you're doing it off campus.
Okay.
One of the reasons you're doing it off campus.
That's what I was
highly confidential.
Got it. Okay.
Because some of them at this time have not told anyone
Gotcha.
Okay.
Okay.
that they are really looking.
Got it. Okay. That was my question. Thank you.
All right. So depending on how things go, if we decide that we want to go and say visit somebody in their home territory, then April or May we would approve the contract at a regular scheduled board meeting. And so at one point do we announce to the community that we've chosen somebody?
So I've seen it done like within 2 days. Within a week. It's definitely within a week.
Okay.
But I say it's usually like within a couple of days. That
So
you notify the
announce that
press and
week of
everyone else that
April
this is your finalist. And you say finalist. You know, you don't say this is the person that we've hired. Because that has to go to board to be approved, right? So you just say this is our finalist.
Okay. Scheduling wise, I am not here May 1st.
Okay.
But I'm here for the whole decision-making process, and I'm okay. I mean, I'm okay with that. I don't know if that's a problem to not have full.
Well, how far through May are you out?
I'm out the 25th through May 4th. And it has to be a regularly scheduled meeting.
Yes.
I think barring any surprises, it should be fine.
I would think so, because it's, all the decision-making is done before that meeting.
Yeah. I mean, as long as you're involved and you've with the other meetings, I don't see a problem with that.
Okay. Because our next May meeting's not till the 29th, so, yeah, too long.
Yeah.
Okay.
Are you talking about the appointment?
Yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
the board approves the
Ideally,
contract.
If your first board meeting, that would be ideal.
Well, May 1st is very quickly, soon after the decision is made. So
Right.
You're gone May 20, sorry.
Yeah.
Is it the,
Or you can move it to the second May meeting. I mean, it's just gonna be a big gap before your official action.
yeah, it's awfully far.
Yeah.
It's like about 5 weeks after.
That's a long time.
Okay. All right. So,
And then after that, that person's gonna wanna come in and, you know, you really wanna start your transition, all of those things.
Yeah.
So, are we okay with May 1st? All right. So one of the things that we will need is a board liaison or a spokesperson for the board. And if we can get 2 people that we can contact and work with as things come up.
Yeah, I think
Daniel
we-
and I
Okay.
had stepped in for that
put
last.
I didn't write that down.
Oh, that's
And I
okay.
remember you guys telling me that too. I should mention that.
And so Donald, you're not concerned that May 1st is whatever, a week and a half before we've had our final interviews?
No.
Okay,
You mean a week and a half after?
correct.
And that we would have the name in the agenda, correct?
So we would need the name by the 26th.
But we would have that from our meetings on the 21st,
Right.
so we'll have
And we're gonna have
Yeah.
to do the announcement, and he was saying,
But, yeah,
do an
okay,
announcement
quickly.
for your final
Yeah.
finalists.
Well, just
That
this week of the 22nd, if you did that validation process, is what I'm.
And also, if there's any negotiation or back and forth,
So once you finish, let's say, your validation process, and actually during that time, you'll go back and forth with the contract, and that's usually with your attorneys and the 2 of you, and then with them as well. And they'll also take the contract to, let's say, access, usually who the superintendents go to make sure everything's in there that you want in there. But you'll be working with, the 2 of you will be working with the attorney for the district to finalize that contract. So if there's any surprises, you know, which I don't think there will be because we will have all that in.
so we would be doing that the week of the 22nd
Yep.
of April
Mhm.
to then notify our finalist candidate as X, Y, and Z by the 26th because we have to get board material out the week before.
By the 26th,
The
right.
26th, yeah.
And if for whatever reason that's hung up through the 26th or 27th, is that a problem for that board meeting on May 1st?
You have to
Yeah,
put
'cause you have
it
to
on the
have it.
agenda.
Yeah.
I mean, we do our agendas on the Friday before the.
Right, but let's pretend there's no power that week. And
That would never happen.
That could happen.
whatever,
You just
like,
don't know.
No, it
like,
just did
let's
today.
just,
Right, no,
but
yeah.
we do wanna make that we wanna make sure that May 1st scheduled board meeting is when we are
Yes.
appointing our finalist. What
So-
is,
So you would have to have that contract finalized that you agree on.
By that Friday, the day or whatever.
But we have posted agenda items on a Friday and uploaded subsequent materials.
Right, that's-
the
Yeah.
following
That's what I
Monday
mean,
or Tuesday.
Well, and actually, our meeting's on a Wednesday, so we'd technically have to upload it by Monday.
okay,
No.
It's tech,
Is it not?
Sunday.
Is it Sunday? Okay, sorry, Sunday. I was like, I know it's not Friday if it's on
Upload
Wednesday.
the agenda
so
item, but could you add material on
Once
Monday?
it's posted, it's posted. So it would throw off, the whole, anything else that might be on there.
so, you don't add anything
We've added
afterwards?
materials.
Because
We
you
add
technically,
attachments, we don't change anything to the agenda or the background.
Right, so you have the background and the agenda item, but you could upload the materials, i.e. the contract, on Monday, if that's a materials that you're adding. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
that's
you
what
have
she's
the
saying.
Okay,
context.
I thought, I
That's
was
what
the
she was saying.
name.
No, I was saying
the-
you've got the name, you've got the context, you've got the background, you've got the
Mhm.
agenda
Yeah, yeah.
item, and then you put the, is that what you're looking at?
I mean, I guess I'm just looking at the experts, is that it's literally 4.5 days to get all of this contract stuff done. That
Yes.
seems like a narrow window to me. Unless
It
you say,
is.
no, it's fine.
it is a narrow window.
Yeah. Donald, let me just throw out, are we talking about
I'm talking about
time
once,
span
no,
between the interviews and the board? Is that what the concern is?
yeah, so the interview is like April, let's say we finalize it April 21st. Let's say they go do a visit within the next couple of days. In the meantime, they're working on the contract. Is that enough time? And I'm thinking that it's close.
No. Here's what needs to happen between those. Once you select your candidate, your finalist, and you agree on the parameters of that contract, then what happens is you give that information to your legal counsel. That legal counsel puts that information into a boilerplate contract.
It's,
Your legal counsel is well aware of the laws, and they have it. I am sure they all do.
yeah,
They have contracts that are current, legal, up to date. They have all the legalese in it. And then it comes back to the board. The board then looks and reads the contract and generally agrees, yeah, that's what we agreed upon. Then that contract needs to go over to the candidate or the finalist, and you usually allow the finalist to share it with his or her legal counsel, or they usually use AXA, and AXA reviews the contract. All this is done electronically, and it's done fairly quickly. You need to have ready 72 hours, obviously, before your May, is a board meeting on May 1? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
Yeah,
So, yeah, you basically are going to want all that done in generally a week. And that could be tight, as Donald
That's
said.
what I was saying, it's
It
tight.
could be tight.
but it's a boilerplate. It's pretty simple, but my concern is what if, they ask for something that's out of what we normally do. And how
We
much
would have to
time
be able
that
to
would
discuss that.
take to go back and forth. That's my only question. And so,
So
is
then
it-
the other fallback is we don't have the next board meeting until May 29th. Does that matter? So let's say we
just push it to May 29th.
now that's our number one candidate. They know that, we know that, we've negotiated, we just can't announce it.
no,
Or
we
how
do
does that
announce
work?
it, we do
You
announce it.
We announce it.
announce our
Yeah.
Oh,
Just
and
can't
then
finalize the
we announce our finalist is coming on May 29th.
Mhm.
To finalize the
Cool.
contract.
Is that risky
And-
as far as keeping a strong candidate? It's not? Okay. So that could be.
Because you've already committed to that person.
Right.
Yeah,
Let's just finalize
I'm
the
actually, I just think you might feel better, and I think we would as well, not being crunched in there. If you put the you have two things you do on the 29th then, of May. And that would be the official appointment of the superintendent and the ratification of the contract. Both of those have to go on that regularly scheduled board meeting.
So if everything goes smoothly and the negotiation goes well, we do it on the 1st. If there are extenuating circumstances and they're asking and there's a little more back and forth, then you just do it at the May 29th meeting.
That's exactly it.
Right.
Okay.
And here's the other thing too. By that time, you have announced it. You're not trying to, even if it's on the 29th, you're not trying to keep a secret from people.
Right.
You've already announced your candidate. And you are proud to announce that it goes out in the press pending ratification of the contract and the appointment
And we'll give you the
scheduled for
words.
the May 29th meeting.
Great.
Many boards do that. They just say pending or conditional upon that approval taking place.
Right.
And you can even set up times where you might want them to meet, you set up a meeting with the community where people have a chance to maybe even meet this person.
Okay.
A lot of people have
Cool,
done
alright, that makes sense, thank you.
Yeah.
So we'll make sure you have the right words to use during that time, because that's important.
Okay, great.
Okay. Where am I?
We are at number 4.
Okay, Teresa, you're okay with that? So we've been back and forth with the materials and so forth, and you will also get, how to post things and the web page and posting things for the agenda. You'll get all of that from Serena, because that's important. And then I talked about the website. So we'll have that for you. Oh, we have the trustees' addresses, email addresses are correct on the website because I have those, so they're okay.
Yeah.
All right. Did you want to say something?
Donald, I just had a clarification question, and I might have missed it because I'm taking notes here for Serena. On the selection date, which is the selecting your interviews, your interviewees, and reviewing the apps, that's March 28th. Did you decide on the time for that?
Oh, no.
4:30.
Yeah, we said we did
4:30.
3 hours, same time frame as today.
Okay,
Okay,
got it. I
Thank
didn't
you.
put that in there.
sorry.
Thank you. Okay. So let me go down to number 6. So I think you have in your packet the community forum and a group of partners that you'd like for us to talk to. I just want to make sure that we are talking to all the people that you want us to talk to. And so, of course, we're going to talk to you guys tonight later about what you want in a candidate. Let's go down that list. Are there former board members that you want us to talk to? You may not want us to talk to, or we just want to open it up. Would you like us to talk to them? And who are these folks, if you do want us to talk to them?
I mean, you've gone through this and the former board members have gone through the process, so
It'd be helpful to have them.
the just prior rotating off board members?
Not a bad idea.
So
I
Anne
would-
and Annalise and Leslie.
Annalise and Wesley?
Maybe Mark Reagan too.
I don't know, Mark.
You said, I'm sorry, Lisa?
I don't know, I'd be cautious, we should cross that bridge when we get there. I'd be cautious of getting too far back. They're all super qualified people, so I don't think there's a downside to it at all for any of them, period. I mean, they all, never any conflict with any of them, they always have the district's best interests, so I don't think you can fail on it, really.
Annalise and Wesley?
Wesley.
So I got Lisa, Wesley.
Annalise.
Marie wasn't here.
Oh,
Yeah, she's
I'm sorry, spell her name?
Annalise?
Oh, Annalise.
She's never gonna serve.
And
At least they
Annalise and
they
Wesley.
serve full terms. Multiple full terms.
And Teresa, you have all the contact for those.
I will look.
Annalise and Wesley.
Anne,
Oh,
Annalise,
oh, it's two people.
two different people.
Okay. Ann and what's Ann's last name?
Capron,
Can you spell it for me?
Capron.
Okay. And the next one?
Annalise, which is Annelise.
Mhm.
Her last name is Bauer, Bauer.
P-A-E.
Bauer.
Got it?
And then Wesley, which is Wesley, and then Pratt, Pratt.
Got it. Okay. So, of course, the superintendent, cabinet members, are you okay with us talking to them? District leaders, directors, coordinators, principals, is it okay we talk to all of them as well? Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Classified staff, we usually talk to, anybody that you want us to talk to, the custodians, or is there anybody in particular?
I'd definitely get our custodians who've been living around. I wonder if we could get any of the other older, yeah.
Okay.
All those would be great.
Your secretarial staff, the administrative staff, I'm sorry. All of those, would be okay, and we can work with you on those, okay. Confidential staff, okay.
What is
So-
confidential staff?
Like Teresa, there's only two people.
Usually about 2 or 3 of them.
Yeah, very few people, but yes.
Certificated staff,
Mm-hmm.
okay, we'll open up to the teachers. Anyone who's certificated, actually. The executive board, both your unions,
Mm-hmm.
bargaining units. Students, usually we will talk to some of your 8th graders, your ASB.
Teresa, in the past when we've been hiring principals, we've gotten really good reviews on the engagement with students even in our elementary schools when they were doing the principal hiring.
Right.
So I would just mirror whatever kind of, take what we've learned from those.
Okay.
Okay, we can work with that.
I don't know. My first grader had a great time interviewing Amanda Wagner. I'm not gonna. Her opinion
Yeah.
is not as critical.
Exactly.
I wasn't thinking interviewing, but
I just think they don't even know what a superintendent does. I don't know. What we can, it's cute.
I asked the
it's a-
kindergartner once what a superintendent did, and the kindergarten said it's a person who has superpowers.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's about as far as it goes.
you put that on. Okay.
I mean, I think
Middle school students, what do you
Maybe the 8th graders?
The 8th graders, and even
Maybe
the fifth graders.
I've talked to 5th graders and I've talked to 8th graders, and you'd be surprised.
Yeah,
I would
but
do
I'd
fifth
start
graders,
with fifth, because that brings in the four schools, and then Whitehill,
Okay.
Yeah.
5th graders and 8th graders?
5th graders and 8th graders.
And usually what has happened in the past when I've talked to 5th graders, usually the teachers select a group of students that will come talk to
Yes.
us. And for
Whitehill
8th
has a
grade,
student council
Mhm.
and a leadership forum that they'll easily
Mhm.
pluck from. And the 5th graders have at least at our school, have they're called go-to crew. They're like the leaders on the Gazette. And so they're pretty,
Okay. What about, do you have
We do have parent.
PTA or PTO?
oh yeah.
There's parent clubs
Parent
at all
clubs.
of the schools. Yeah, so those
Yes.
absolutely need to be reached out to.
So you've
Site
got
council roundtable.
Parent club, site council roundtable, parent equity guardian task
Wait.
force.
I'm trying to get
Could you lump all of those into a? Because are
Yes.
you meeting with these people individually? Like
A group.
number 10, executive board is an individual meeting.
That's the individual meeting.
So
Yeah.
could we just give you, hey, here's all the emails of those parent groups
Together or separately? That's the
together? I mean, it
question.
should just be one.
So let me go back to clarify something. So usually your executive board of your union, they want to meet with us separate.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. So, and then SSC, we'll just put it out there like the leadership, we'll meet with them. I know we have grouped them together, and sometimes we have not grouped them together. It's
What-
usually up to.
SSC? What is
we-
council?
Yeah, we put them,
Site council?
site council,
Oh,
I'm sorry.
so you.
Mark, you want to say something?
No, the only, as you're going through these groups, the biggest thing is, we just wanna make sure we didn't miss any group on this list.
That's
Yes,
you.
Yeah.
That,
That's under
Yeah, I would put the
Yeah.
Yes Foundation with that kind of parent
they're
partners.
15. They're number
Oh.
15.
exactly, that's all.
Or
it's really
Education
good
Foundation,
for.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes Foundation
We'll
is the
put
Education
groups together.
Foundation.
We
Yeah.
just don't, we just don't wanna miss anyone.
Boosters. You know how many
So I-
boosters besides site council roundtable,
So I don't see
which
the
are
parent equity group on
PTA.
there.
Parent Equity Guardian Task Force
Parent-
should be on there.
Equity,
Guardian
Guardian.
Task Force.
Teresa, do we have a list of
There's a
community groups
That's on here.
that we
Okay, it's 13.
engage with for after school enrichment that use our fields, that
Oh, yeah,
engage
that's a
like
good point.
Yes.
sports clubs,
Not
soccer
YMCA.
things, after school, folks that we work with, like the
we
YMCA,
usually say the Recreation Department.
recreation.
Those are our
Some-
community
Yeah.
partners.
Those are the
Yeah.
community partners, I
Yeah.
think,
I
All of
do all the
those?
facilities, so I have all those.
yeah,
Okay.
okay.
The other one that we usually add here is, and for some reason, I've talked to them at pretty much every district, is the police force, city council. If you have those.
So
I-
we
we're
have two
getting
different
into-
Yeah,
towns.
we have JLAC.
What's JLAC?
Joint Legislative Action Committee.
No,
We
that's
also
like-
have the Yellow School Bus Committee as
With the
well.
Safe
Safe Routes to School.
Safe routes to schools would be a good one.
Um,
Can you spell that?
Safe,
Safe
S,
routes.
safe as in safety.
Oh, safe. Okay.
Safe routes to school.
Safe routes, okay.
I think the bus,
Yellow School Bus,
Transportation.
yeah, the Yellow School, it's called the Yellow,
JEPA.
JEPA, thank you.
Say it again for me.
JEPA, JEPA,
J,
joint
Joint.
power
Exercise.
transportation. It's the
no,
group that
joint
works
powers
on
of
transportation.
Joint execution.
You're
powers.
squinching your eye.
Is that a group that we need to
Are there?
get buy-in for a superintendent?
Yes.
Okay.
is there any other groups that's not on here?
Let's think of our committees that we're on.
I know, that's what I'm going through this right now, thinking.
Ryan, what do you think? Community partners, we've got JEPA, we've got,
I don't know, if you really want my honest opinion, I think it's important to reach out and make sure that if those people are interested, that they can have an opportunity to come forward and be active in this process. But if we decide to reach out to every group ourselves as individuals, I think it's
No, I
No,
think
no,
it's
no.
just letting them know that
Yeah.
this is.
Oh,
just-
got it. Oh,
It's
yeah,
just
gotcha,
announcing
gotcha.
them and giving them, hey, there's gonna be a
Yeah.
forum on this night, please come
And
and
then we'll
we'd like
send
to
them
give
an
us your.
email, and if they want to participate,
Right.
they can.
just
Yeah.
notice.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, got it.
Then I do think
Right.
we have two town councils, San Anselmo and Fairfax.
Okay.
So
So
there's
letting
one, yeah.
them
So
know.
it's who you want us to talk to, which one? But you said something about a joint or something.
That's JEPA.
JEPA.
That's
Joint
the,
Powered.
Transportation Authority, you have the contact for them, Teresa.
I don't think that's necessary. JEPA.
Just letting
Good.
them know.
I mean, letting everybody know is fine. Transparency is great. Outreach is great. I'm just saying.
We're talking about just outreach, we're not
Mhm.
talking about, we're
Anyone that we
scheduling
serve
a
on, we also
specific.
go through every one of the things that we
Yeah.
serve
Yep.
on and make sure there's a notice. That's the answer.
Yeah.
So let's just make sure that everybody, okay.
And then we'll give them a time slot,
okay.
and they can decide whether or not they want to participate.
I think you're number 14 here, where you've got chamber and business partners, town councils.
I think that's the Y and like Casada, Louis Casada, who uses our fields, you know.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Places, even I think
The
with
rec and
what's happening with Butch Andrini, the Westmore Little League is coming in and hoping to use all people can just come.
Well, parents. I mean, parents of our parents are in there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But these are
Yeah,
reps of
so-
service clubs and and soccer,
Right.
whatever.
But Teresa, you
And
have all of
This
that.
is just outreach, it's just outreach,
I
it's
know,
not.
but I'd also say like,
Yeah, like all of those people need to know. Yeah, okay, great.
That'll be great.
you're reaching out.
Thank you,
to-
Teresa.
Thank you, Teresa.
And remember, we're gonna have a scheduled open forum for
That's-
anyone to
Yeah.
show up.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna probably indicate on your website or any other outreach vehicle that you typically use all about these stakeholder meetings, and, you know, anyone who pulls up your website's gonna know.
Right,
Great.
so we're not talking about setting up separate meetings for
No,
each
no,
of
this
these
is
groups,
just-
this is
No,
just
no, no, just
outreach
outreach.
too. This is just outreach too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And if you think of some other names, just give them to Teresa and we can work with you in terms of reaching out to all of those stakeholders.
Great.
Mark, you wanted to talk about the,
I have one quick question.
okay,
The number 12, it says parent partners.
yes.
Do you typically do a parent forum that is those leaders plus any other parents that want to come? Or do you do just those parent leaders separate from an open forum for other parents? In other words, are they combined or are they separate?
So we have the parents, which is separate, and some of them will be in both, and some will come to both.
Okay.
But we usually do the PTA reps, or they'll have our executive board, we'll meet with them, and they'll be representatives of the PTA, okay? And then same with the boosters in your SSB or your SST, some call it.
Says
Thank you.
So it's just usually, reps from
Okay.
each group.
Okay.
And then DLAC and ELAC.
Yep.
We have reps.
And when you
Some
do
people
have
just
these,
send the officers.
when you do have these open forums, just knowing this community, it can become a circus.
Mhm.
And so how are you going to navigate?
Structure it.
Yes. How are
So
you gonna
we usually structure it
navigate?
around the 3 questions, and we ask them, and usually what I've done is that when there's just so many people, and it's just like, if you hear something that's already been said, try not to repeat that, and just give us something that hasn't been said, because you also have the opportunity to talk or to participate in the survey as well.
Yeah.
So if you don't get a chance to speak, but and so that has helped, and we just keep it flowing. And it's been pretty, we haven't had a circus yet, because we usually keep it going. We're not,
Good luck with that. Thank you.
because we try to, sometimes you can see where they want to tell you a little bit more
Oh, yeah.
than what you want.
Oh,
So we
yeah.
try to make sure we structure it where you have those 3 questions, and we're only talking about this question,
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
and not about this particular
Yes.
situation that happened at that
Oh,
school
yeah.
today.
I'm in the future too. Okay. All right. Thank you.
So are we okay with, I've added a couple of other groups to the list that you gave us.
Wait, do you have the round table on there?
I don't have the round table.
I
Okay.
think the round table is just a round
Is
table
it
of
just
all
all
those
those
groups.
groups? Okay, so that might.
So if you have a round table of all those groups, then
Yeah.
that would be a great, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
I
round
think that
table
is.
includes the PTAs, the Yes
Yeah.
Foundation, the site councils.
So it wraps.
That's
It's
what I
just
mean,
this-
if you
Yeah.
kind of lumped all that into a
Exactly.
singular.
Yes.
So it's
You
just
could
that
put them all
some
together.
districts, you get some of them that want their own special meeting.
Or superintendent's council actually is the
Is
Yeah,
best.
so you gotta be.
I just wanna make sure it all
You just wanna offer it to them, that's all.
Yeah, make sure it's all.
What about Marin County Office of Education? Anything?
Yes, you might wanna, yes, the superintendent.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Right, so other partners outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or other superintendents in the district? I mean, you guys have placed, 5 soups recently, Donald?
Yes.
Could you reach out, is that
Normally a thing that you do where you talk to people outside of
does
the
that
district?
matter, the Larkspur Corte Madera
Well,
superintendent who you know?
we don't usually talk to the other superintendents, but we will talk to the superintendent of the county superintendent.
County
Okay.
superintendent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's important. Anybody else you can think of?
Nah, this is easy.
This is my favorite part, actually. I like sitting there listening to them.
All right.
Okay, let me see. Okay, where am I now?
We are on number 6.
Oh, I was, Mark, you want to talk about the position description and
Sure.
the executive summary?
What we will do is, once we get all the input, we're gonna basically bring it all together, and we're gonna be looking for themes. You know, those common threads that really come out, basically in the area of personal and professional characteristics that you're looking for in the next superintendent. And we're going to take all that and we're going to put it into an executive summary that will provide the board. We're also going to use that as we build our position description. The only thing that we're going to need from you to complete the position description will be a couple of things. Number one, if you've got maybe a description of your district that you've used on your website, or a description of the area that often shows up on a website, we will incorporate that into the position description because candidates are interested in knowing a little bit about the actual district itself and the neighboring community. We also are going to need to get an agreement on a range of salary. We're required now, through recent state legislation under labor laws, that when you publish an open position, you have to give a salary range. And that could be a broad range. So those are the things that we're going to need from the board. We're going to put all that together in the position description. It'll come as part of an executive summary to the board, and you'll get a flavor for what your stakeholders are looking for.
Well, we've got a description
On our home.
on our homepage.
Yeah, on
So
the
we can use
homepage.
that.
Okay.
Good.
And that's pretty.
Yeah.
That's
Do we need something, Marin? Do you want something larger about like the county, or is it okay just focusing on the?
Just you guys.
No,
Okay.
no, we can use, often districts just
That kind of
use
stuff too.
exactly what's on their homepage.
Okay, great.
And then, once we have the position description, we're gonna send it out to the liaisons and probably have a discussion brief. Goes out to all of the board members. And we wanna get this thing done and turned around quickly. So when we get the majority of the board members that say, hey, it looks good to me, then we're gonna run with it. And that will be what we use and goes immediately on our leadership webpage, and it'll be put on your website.
Great.
So how does one come up with a salary range based on, Donald, you talked about, what the ranges are out there.
Yeah.
Do we have something within a budget or looking at our CBO? Is there a range that we are comfortable with? How does that?
How do we come to that?
Let me see if I can help a little bit. Some of the elements that will go into that decision that you want to consider, you're going to probably want to consider what you're currently paying your current superintendent. They're going to know, whoever applies is going to know that. And I'm not suggesting you would pay that money, but in terms of establishing a range, Marcy's salary would be important to consider. Also, Donald and I have the comparative salaries and current salaries that are being paid right now for superintendents in your county, in like-sized districts.
Yeah, but Mark, we're one of the third lowest funded district in Marin County. So just
Exactly.
because Ross School District is making X, I can't imagine we can afford that with everything else that we're working towards.
Yeah, we've
That's why we give you a
you may not
range.
you may not want to. I'm only telling you what you're going to want to look at when you try to determine. The other thing is, as you know, you're in LCSF district.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And the other southern Marin districts are all community-based funded districts.
Yep.
They have a little bit more flexibility. That should go into whatever your range you're happy with.
Correct.
Right.
So
That's all I'm saying.
So we had another district that was in the same situation, and they wanted some time to talk to their budget person to see what they felt more comfortable with or most comfortable with. But usually I would say, because the superintendents or anyone's interested, they're going to the first thing they're going to do is get your superintendent's contract. That's just given.
When do you need this decision by? Tonight?
We need it as soon as possible. But if
I would think you have a little bit of time.
I think there's,
Maybe we can talk about it a little bit later, or maybe we just need to get you guys some information.
I think you take the current salary and the range is below that and slightly above that. That is the range, which brings in the attraction of the candidates.
that's typically exactly what they do.
And then, that candidate, then we make the offer. And the offer is based on truly what's reasonable.
But that's the range that we publish, because they're saying we have to publish that range.
I think we should, and that's usually how it's done when you're considering, because they know what the current Marcy's making now.
Mm-hmm.
And so you want to bring the carrot a little bit above, not too much, and a little bit below, because we've got to be able to negotiate experience as well.
Yeah, but Marcy's also climbed up that ladder pretty significantly in a shorter period of time than I would feel comfortable offering. So I disagree with that a little bit from the standpoint that if you're getting hired to take place for, Michael Jordan, and you're saying Michael Jordan made this much money, you can make more than Michael Jordan if you're better than Michael Jordan, I think that gives a false sense of reality.
But you might find somebody
You
who
might,
has
of course,
tons of vast
I'm-
experience and wants to move here for a geographic reason or
All I'm
something.
saying is that I think that if I was going to do that, I would tear that down from that schedule of not being like half below Marcy and half above Marcy, because I don't think being half above Marcy is realistic.
We also
I
gave
wouldn't
her-
even say half above is a bit steep. I'm saying,
A little bit above and
let's just say
bigger below.
I make 150, say 150. So the range would be 130 to 180.
Yeah, but see, I kind of disagree with that. I don't think it's a big discussion point. What I'm saying is that if 150 is
But you're
someone who is an
currently-
overachiever and overachieved to a lot of a degree, who's also taken some extra responsibility, which we are not going to be able to pay for if we have to break her position down that she took out into the HR position. She took on extra work and got extra pay for that work. So I don't believe that. I think that will set us backwards. Because
We're going to have to figure out whether that, we
Okay.
haven't talked about the position description or whether that's
But I think we have to assume it won't. I think we have to assume it will not include that position, because the only reason that Marcia took over HR is because she had HR experience. So I think we have to break it down to some of its parts and say if you have other criteria, we'll give you other criteria. But I think that we should really temper this down from the expectation. If we find a suitable candidate, we find a suitable candidate. But I think that if you come in trying to replace Michael Jordan and thinking another person is going to get this much more than Michael Jordan, I don't think that that's realistic. And Marcy did make that tier and had the credentials to deserve it, but she also did a lot of other things and got a lot of other climbing raises quite quickly.
Within 4 years, you're saying that her salary jumped that much.
I did.
But when we removed the director of HR position.
That's what I'm saying. I think we have to
three people
remove
took
that
on
position
workload.
and tier the salary schedule down as if that is not going to be a candidate into that. And if someone asks about that, we can just say it's because
Fair enough.
she had an extra position that she took on. And she also burned herself out, which will be a huge part of what I talk about. And we knew this. So this, in my opinion, this is an amazing overachiever who filled the gap because she was qualified, knew the school district so damn well, and happened to actually have a piece of the pie that saved us $150,000 by taking on a chunk of it, giving some to Julia, giving some else out. But I don't think that's a realistic that we're going to find someone that's going to make that goal. So I would put that at the top of the range. And then build up
Come
above
down
that,
from that.
because I don't
hear
think
what you're
that's,
saying,
Yeah.
but keep in mind, you have to be competitive. So you have to be competitive. I hear what you're saying, and so here's just a suggestion, you can just take it or leave it. You can also say, because you did all that, that would be the max you would pay.
That's
So
what
at the,
you're
at the
saying.
high end.
that's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah, I wouldn't go,
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay,
I would say that's the highest.
I think
Period.
that's reasonable.
And then what are
That makes
typical
sense.
ranges that you guys are posting now? Is it 30K, 50K?
So when I was looking at what other districts were making and with the AD that you have, I did a huge range. I had 230 to 290.
Yeah, great. I want a bigger range. Yeah.
230 to 290. I made it wide
Great.
so that would give you some flexibility.
Exactly. When we did Mill Valley, just to let you know, they had a big range. They had about a 75, maybe a $75,000 to $90,000 range from low to high.
What was that?
They posted two. I'm trying to remember. I think it was 225 to 275.
225 to
Or maybe it was
275?
285. I think it was 285. Their current superintendent was making 300.
See, that's kind of what I'm saying. I don't think we have to go to the highest point of this and make that what this is. And the other thing that we can consider also is that we want to attract the best candidates, but if we're attracting candidates only based on money, then then that's not always the definition of what the best candidate is. And remember that we actually replaced Dr. Bagley, who was an out of county candidate, and we got a great candidate because he fit what we were looking for. We got an ace at Marcy because she was inside. So I don't. Again, I'm not trying to be right because I'm probably just one person. The way I think it might be very different from the way everybody else thinks. I'm just thinking that I think Marcy is very well compensated and deserving so of that compensation. I would find it very difficult for someone to walk into this job and follow in those
All the
footsteps
bits
right
and
now
pieces of it.
and be making more than Marcy did based on that. That's just where I'm coming at this from.
Fair enough. That's a good point.
I totally agree. So where are you in terms of that range? Because that's a wide range.
Yeah.
What's your compensation right now?
I'm trying to find that.
I have that.
You have that big.
Mark, do you have Marcy's current salary?
Do I have
the
what?
contract.
I didn't hear you.
I have to pull it
I
up.
would just say not to exceed that number and back it down $50,000.
75.
$75,000, yeah, back it
75,000
down
bigger.
and put it down there. You could
Have
also
a
just get some
$75,000
perfect young
range.
person who's willing to get a job and start then and work up to that stuff. So let's, I'm just saying like having,
So having a wide range, but just having the top of it.
yeah, I think so. I don't
That
think
makes
we're gonna
sense.
find Michael Jordan. I think Marcy was kind of Michael Jordan.
Her contract was reapproved.
Yeah.
I have to look it up. I have it. But I just.
And she got a raise along with everybody. Right, Chris?
Mm-hmm.
Which was what, 9%?
I don't recall the percentage.
Maybe a lot.
Yeah.
It also sends a very good message to our teachers.
Well, that's what I think
And
that
they will be watching.
Daniel and I had a strong reaction to, like,
Absolutely.
that's,
It's gonna be a big watch.
Yeah.
May 31st was 265.
265? 265, 142. Okay, so 266, 265.
And that includes the raise?
That includes the raise. What was the amount that
I'm
we?
sorry, this.
So 200 to 265? How does that sound?
Say that again?
200 to 265?
Donald, what is the market in Marin? Is
230 to 290 is what he said.
Mm-hmm. 230.
great.
I
So
I don't think there's a superintendent of Marin that is making much less than 265.
So advertising 200. I mean, if you said 220 to 265. Or yeah, whatever, looking at you guys.
I would still go back to 230 to 290.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, can I just ask a quick clarifying question? Is 265 your top? You don't want to exceed that?
That's what we are conversing about.
Okay, because remember, you're not setting their salary right here.
Right,
All you're doing is
I know, we were just trying to talk about what the current salary was, where does it anchor within the market-based range that, you know, Donald had given us this market-based range, which was the 230 to 290.
Inclusive of the additional HR duties that Marcy's been doing.
Right.
But
Yeah.
now the 265, which you just then said, that's basically what I hear you saying, Mark, is that 265, in your opinion, is the low end, even though Donald, you had said 230 to 290.
And you know, just the sensitivity to being able to pay our teachers.
Well, that's tough.
Yeah.
It's hard.
It's
I mean,
optic.
I know.
It's
You
the
guys,
optics, you're
you
right.
guys are in a tough bind here. What if you just go right now with 220 to 265?
Right.
Yeah.
That's good. You know, remember, that is just the range. If you find a rock star that says, I'll only come for 270, you know, you're going to have choices.
Yeah.
So I say 265, it'll make you feel better, and it should sit better with the teachers.
Yeah.
Are we gonna eliminate people who aren't even gonna throw their hat in if they want 270, 275?
I don't think
I don't
you'll
think
lose
so.
them. I think that if you're willing to take and to consider
Experience.
rock star assistant superintendents that are moving up the ladder, you know, first time superintendents, there's a lot of AAA ball players out there that
So
are stars.
I can tell you,
And you're not going to get someone who's making 275 to come over. But I don't think you're priced out of the market right there. I think that's reasonable.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
that's all that matters.
because what you're looking at is someone who is like deputy superintendent, assistant superintendent, associate superintendent right now. That's that price range. And
Yeah.
especially if they're in a large district, like let's say I'm throwing out San Francisco.
But it
Right.
might preclude
But it-
us from a current superintendent in an area who is interested in moving to Marin County, but who might already be kind of in that zone, who's kind of like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not gonna, for that price.
Yep. And we're not gonna. And I would recommend us not. Oh well, they'll love us. Maybe they'll take. No. They're. Yeah.
So
Right.
we paid Marcy an extra $20,000 to take on those extra HR duties.
Right.
So that's what you probably will attract
Okay.
more than likely.
Right.
Because, you know, folks are
Exactly.
looking at the cost of living,
Exactly.
to live in
But
Marin. It's
I
expensive.
think you're doable, and if we run into some problems, we're going to talk to you about candidates that say to us, you know, Donald, Mark, I really can't go over for that price. You know, it's going to cost me too much money, and you know, we'll chat with you about it. This is movable, but it sounds like you guys are dealing with negotiations right now.
Mhm.
You're not, you know, you're an LCFF district. This is a tough state budget year. Doesn't look like there's going to be a lot of COLA. I mean, all of those things play into it. I think it's a good start.
Okay.
So I have 230 to 265.
230 to 265, that
That's what I have.
works.
Okay, I thought it was
Okay.
220, but 230.
Oh, 220, I'm sorry.
What-
I'm sorry. I don't know why I get 230, 220.
I like 230 better.
You like 230
You like 230 better?
Okay, all right. I'm not wedded.
Right?
All right.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
I'm more concerned about the upper end than I am the lower end. I think you're going to be fine.
Okay.
So the other thing is we had talked about how we're putting things out, the online survey, and so we had February the 16th to the 23rd in terms of survey. Even though they have other opportunities to participate, but we also have the survey as well, and so that's what we're thinking about in terms of those dates for the survey.
Do you have reminder pushes?
So we usually work with Teresa in terms of getting those out, just
Okay.
like folks know that the survey's up
Great,
and we post it on the webpage.
great.
And we also send it out through, we put them in, put the survey out in the bulletins that the schools send out, so to remind parents that you need to do this as well.
I had a question, if we're having the stakeholder input sessions on the 26th, 27th, 28th, but in those meetings you say, if, don't repeat yourself, you can do the survey.
Keep it open
Shouldn't
through
we
the
push
28th.
the survey until the or to at least have it open until the 29th or 28th?
I don't see that as a problem.
I think
Yeah, that
I
makes
would
sense.
suggest,
I think
I would,
I don't see it as a problem at all.
Yeah.
Mark, you don't see that as a problem extended to the 29th?
Extending, I didn't hear it. Extending what?
Extending the survey to the 29th.
No.
I don't see that as a problem at all.
We're going to be, you're going to find out on a regular basis how many people have submitted. We just want that data as soon as possible so that we can get, so that we can put that position description together. I don't see a problem.
okay.
I do have a question though. Oh, I'm sorry.
Can I offer some suggestion on the survey?
Yeah, so we just put out the 3 questions, but did you have something else?
Yeah, if I'm taking a survey and I don't have a lot of knowledge, I want to suck them in as early as possible. And so I like my perspectives come from being a parent, student, that's easy for me to check. I don't like question number 2 through 5 with, what do you see as the strengths of the district? That doesn't give me time to kind of ease into the survey. So I would move all the open answered questions to the last questions and start with 6, 7, and 8, where they're just ranking.
That's a good idea.
2 through 5.
All the open-ended questions move to the end. Yeah, 2 through 5.
Put them at the end.
Gotcha.
Essentially, question number 2 is, please rank the following professional experiences that you find most valuable. Question number 3 would be, what's the professional leadership characteristics? Because that gives me the least amount of thought. I can do that. And then we've got them committed to this. Then they'll have more time and maybe a little bit more knowledge or whatever to answer some open-ended questions. Because those are complicated questions to think about for the first time.
Question. I got a question. Are we talking about the survey? The survey, Donald, I believe, is pretty much goes out as it is. Are we able to modify that survey?
I don't know that. It's always just going out as it is, but I
mean,
don't
it's
know.
a
I have
survey
to talk
that we
to
use
Serena.
consistently with.
I get it. It's just,
We can
doing a lot of
ask.
surveys, it's better to make it easier at the beginning for people
That's right.
because it will be too overwhelming when you say, what do you see as the strengths of the district as the second question?
And then they click off and go away and go
Right.
back and watch.
Just feedback.
Okay.
Okay,
So
well, I've
we'll
written it down. I think it's good feedback.
Okay.
I'll tell you, I don't think you're going to have any shortages of people filling it out.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, no, I'm not. Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't
I
had
mean,
it, but
it's the same
but I do
survey
hear what
we
you're saying.
use, on the regular. But I like your idea. I'm not a survey writer, but it does make a lot of sense. I've written it down.
Thank you.
I like it personally. So let me check on that one, but we've just never had that question come up. But we can always ask, see if we can change it, and if not, is it okay if we sent it out? But we'll definitely check into it.
Yeah, I just think it's a better way of writing a survey. If that's how you guys have always done it, okay, not a
Oh,
big
we'll
deal, but it's just a better way of
Well,
writing surveys.
I like it, because, I mean, I agree with you.
Okay, cool, moving on.
So-
I just don't know how flexible we are in modifying that survey, so I am going to, I'll bring it up.
Okay.
The other question I had is there another language other than English? Do you want it sent out in Spanish as well?
Spanish.
Yeah, do you need the survey in Spanish?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Yep.
Spanish
Okay.
and English.
Got it. Got it. All righty. Any other languages? Or are you okay with that?
I think that's pretty all encompassing enough.
Yeah.
Common sense.
Good. Good.
No one reads that anymore, do they?
So let me,
Donald, what was you asked for a revision on the survey dates. I just want to make sure I've got it
the
right.
16th
The online
to the
survey we
29th.
have in there is 16th through 23rd. You wanted to extend it to the 29th,
Yes.
right? I'm good.
So we talked about the candidate recruitment. So I don't need to go into that again. We
Are
did
there-
EdCal symposium. Yes.
Are there any other, I mean, maybe I'll ask my colleagues, are there any other recruitment arenas that we can think of that are local or that might reach potential candidates that we wouldn't normally reach with these kinds of usual suspect forum things? I mean, I'm thinking, I know-
CSBA would automatically know, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know there are a couple of, university partnership programs with like San Rafael City Schools, mainly for teacher recruitment that might, I don't know, I was just trying to think of those kinds of,
I think that's what these guys do, right? If
Yeah,
they're,
we kind of know where all the
Okay.
folks are
You-
looking.
You've got a wide berth right now.
okay.
Some boards have asked, put it on the GIS, not the GIS. Oh God, what is it? The platform of which you would be looking for principals,
Oh.
assistant principals, and all that.
EdJoin?
We don't
EdJoin.
put them on that.
Yeah,
Yeah, EdJoin.
EdJoin.
We don't, thank you. We don't put them on that mainly because it draws too many clearly not qualified people. So your recruitment mainstream is going to be our network, the Leadership Associate Network out there, everyone that meets EdCal,
EdCal. That's the big one.
and the membership that we have that will receive the emails. I've already received emails about this job. I've already gotten 2 calls already.
what about personal emails to other superintendents that we know? I mean, I know lots of jobs or you find a job through a person that you know that you say, hey, I'm looking for this, who do you know kind of deal, and I'm wondering if we have relationships with other trustees or other superintendents in the county. Do you have something that we could send, and have you had?
We've not had that.
Oh,
And there's a reason why, but I'll tell you later.
okay. Okay. All right.
Other questions?
Are we good?
Around that one? We talked a little bit about the contract parameters, which we give them once we select the applicants that you want to interview. We give them a sheet and they list, or they have several questions that they have to answer. And they'll know the range, because we will have given that to them, and then they'll put down all the things that they want so that there's no surprises when you select the final candidate.
Yeah. Donald,
Yes.
it might not be a bad idea. I don't know if the board receive this, just a copy of that sheet, the contract parameter sheet.
Did we send that to them?
I'm sorry.
Did you get that? It's just
The contract
No,
parameter?
no.
No, they don't have it, but we can
Okay.
send it to them.
You know what we'll do? I'll have Serena send you one. So it just covers the areas that typically, you attempt to reach agreement on.
Okay.
Might help you.
And the worksheet that you give to the candidates, that is blank, basically? It's like just the questions of what their parameters are? And they
Yes.
kind of fill, so,
But it's in each of the areas.
Yeah, we're just giving, I just think it's nice for you to get it as well. So you have sort of an idea of what we're asking.
yeah,
Mhm.
no, it'd be
It'll
helpful.
be blank.
You just don't want any surprises.
Yeah,
That's why we do that.
I do
And,
definitely.
Yeah.
the process is a lot smoother because, not having that, you don't know what folks are gonna ask you. And you don't wanna have that the last minute. You like somebody and they're like, no, I'm not gonna come here because you're not gonna give me X, Y, and Z.
yeah, no surprises.
And it's usually around salary.
All right.
All right.
All right, so that's basically it. Then we go off to closed session.
Okay. So, I think we do have to go out for public
Wait a
comment
second.
first, or do
Oh,
we have any more comments or questions, or?
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Mark, did you have
We
anything?
need you to provide your input.
Okay.
You're a stakeholder group, whether you know it or not. And Donald's going to ask you 3 questions, and I am going to capture them.
Okay.
Does that work?
Yeah.
Yes.
Do we, wait, so is this a thing that we need to do
Yeah.
now, or do we have to do public comment first and then we discuss things, or is this part of the process?
Oh, no.
This is number 10.
Is
This
just,
is number
we're going
11.
to ask
I mean, 11.
you 3
Sorry.
questions that we're going to ask all your stakeholders.
Okay, gotcha.
And we just want to know, because you are the decision makers, you represent them, it would be good to know what you're looking for.
Great, I just wasn't clear on exactly what we're discussing in closed session, so I wanted to
Got
make
it.
sure that we're not jumping around in the wrong spot.
I jumped the gun.
That's fine.
I should look at 11. Okay, so the first one is the desired qualities and characteristics, and what do you see or what would you like in the next superintendent? So it's just desired qualities or characteristics that the superintendent should have, for Ross Valley.
Personal and professional.
And I
I'll
can just go
start.
right down.
On a personal level, I would hope for someone who is a clear and concise communicator, who is unafraid to approach subjects that might be problematic in the community, but all in the interest of focusing on the children of RVSD. Characteristics, someone who's hardworking and doesn't see this as a 9-to-5 job, who's readily available to communicate and talk when necessary. And I think someone who has a forward-thinking equity lens for this community, to embrace the changing demographics that are happening within our school systems. And I guess the experiential background is someone who has, I'd like to see someone who really understands what it takes to be a teacher as well. Who's collaborative with staff, as well as an effective leader that the staff can look up to.
Good.
So I'm going to offer a slightly different perspective
Love it.
of that. In education, you might become promoted to a principal because you're a really good math teacher. Doesn't mean you're a good principal. It means you've been a good math teacher. or at the university level, because you've been there for a long time and you're a great history teacher, but shouldn't be the president of $100 million, $500 million organization, right? So what I'm looking for is somebody who understands education, and people that get into this understand education, but we need a leader. I think we need a leader of people. So somebody who understands the business aspects of running an organization, right? How do you lead the community? How do you lead the people? Understanding the implications of the business. Still understanding teaching, education, absolutely. But I don't think just because you're a good math teacher, it's not going to make you a great superintendent.
Got it. Good.
It's interesting you said that, Daniel. Strong leader with the focus on academics was my lead, because obviously you need to be able to lead everybody. You can be great at whatever, but you have to be able to lead people and have them follow you, and it's going to be so much easier if somebody can get along with all of our community and lead them. I also said somebody with a calm demeanor, like a people person, someone who's empathetic, someone who's quick to grasp challenging situations and handle them. And I'd like somebody who's also knowledgeable of the position and experienced with adversity and finding solutions.
I'm sorry, is quick to grasp
Challenging situations.
Challenging situations.
And handle them.
An ability to handle challenging situations.
Yeah. Have to be able to understand it and deal with it.
Any more?
Great. Super.
I was going to add somebody who is who can trust other people, especially the awesome staff that we have, who are going to be able to both lead the staff, but know when to also trust the staff and let the staff, do what they do best. Because we've got some great principals, cabinet, administration staff who do great work. So I would add that. I would add, kind of along the lines in terms of a patient communicator who takes an inquiry stance when challenges arise, who is, I feel like that Barbie mom, humble yet courageous.
Words.
But who is courageous, but not pompous, but who can be confident. Part of that, I think, and was mentioning, Daniel, I think you mentioned, has the ability to be like a quick read on situations, but also a quick read on just content. So wicked smart, but doesn't have to be show-offy about it, who can read through budgets and understand it, and contracts. I think we have benefited, and Ryan, I completely, what you had said about all the different tasks that Marcy has taken on, her HR skills, I don't know that we absolutely need someone who's had the extensive HR background that she's had, but because it is a managing people, some sort of HR something or management experience somewhere to be able to do it as skillfully, I think, as we've grown accustomed to in that way. And multitasker, because there's a lot of balls in the air often with bats whacking at those balls. So those would be what I would add. And to what has been said in terms of a really good communicator and listener.
Can I go back to one that you said, and you said can trust people and lead them and work with the staff. Are you talking about somebody who can delegate? I'm just clarifying.
Yes, I think if delegating is like an action verb, but I'm also thinking of a relational stance with,
Like give them a responsibility and trust that they'll do it and not like oversee them or, just try to get a better idea.
and have the discernment to know where that kind of gray area line is of when do you need to back off, when do you need to step forward? How do you be
Got you.
a support person when you've delegated to help people be the best that they can be and also trust who they are.
Okay,
Got it.
I got that one too, down back.
I'm looking for someone who understands that every complex problem comes with a pathway to its solution. I'm looking for someone that understands, that seeks to understand consensus, and then is able to move decisively with an action that protects the business of our district.
Can you say that one more time, please?
Understands consensus and moves decisively.
Seeks to understand consensus and then acts decisively in the best interest of the business of our district. And also a clear communicator who operates with transparency, integrity, and decisiveness.
So clear communicator that operates with transparency and
Integrity.
integrity.
Got it.
Daniel, Ryan, everyone's raised something that I just want to bring up to the top for myself as well. There is a knowledge that I think, a business knowledge that needs to be, in terms of what I'm seeking as well, someone who understands the legal liabilities of this role and the role of the board, and understands what can and cannot be done and said, and is a little forward thinking about making sure that the communication doesn't come back to dismantle us as a board and as a district.
Not to interrupt you, I think it's a good point, but typically that's what we have Terry for, right? To make sure that we are, the other boards that I've served on, especially town council boards and this board, we don't use Terry very often, but a lot of other boards have that person
Always
at their meetings to
Okay.
make sure that you don't step in it
Okay, yeah,
for processes.
part of
A
legal
lawyer.
counsel, but that, every time we use Terry, it's,
Yeah, but I'm just saying, sometimes I think what you're saying is good, but I would caution us to make sure that, one person's opinion, what we have in someone now is highly irregular. And being able to find someone with some of these qualities would be amazing. To find someone with all of these qualities, although a high goal, is probably impossible. But we are also not always utilizing the Chris Carson of our, when he comes in and talks to us, I feel like get that piece in perfectly. It's a nice piece, but we have to look for the pieces of our puzzle and have each one of those pieces, do their work. I wouldn't have this person be known legally.
No, but they need to, I think what I'm hearing though is that they need to know enough about the CBO's role and the lawyers to be able to know when to bring they don't have to know, they don't have to be able to do their job,
Got it.
but they have to know enough to know what they don't know.
Yeah, and then
And
that
who they
person
need
should
to
be
bring
here
in.
for this meeting,
Exactly.
that should, gotcha, okay,
Which
yeah,
kind
yeah.
of, which kind of
Yeah, I
points
agree
to
with
the
that.
trust issue that I was talking about too, is it's like they know enough about what our CBO is doing and what our
that's the
director of
business
student services to know to bring them in and to be humble enough to say,
I don't know.
I don't know, so here are the people I need to bring in, because they do know,
right.
that's why we hired them. And we trust them to then come in and give their advice, and they're not gonna second guess them because they're like, those are the experts, I'm here to bring them in when we need to have them come in.
Right.
And to Ryan's point about seeking to understand, I really want a curious mindset, because if this is somebody coming from outside the community, outside the area, they don't have the history of the district, that's tough. And so how does somebody ask those open-ended questions and seek to understand and, oh, why is that? Or how did this happen? Not, I have to have all the answers and I'm just gonna make decisions. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking, I guess, that kind of a community builder, somebody who asks good questions, somebody who's curious, I think is important.
And also, I mean, I think superintendent's really
Right.
a partner with the board, that sees themselves as a partner with the board. I mean, we don't always agree on everything, but I think we really do partner with the superintendent, and
Sure.
hopefully we'll continue to do so with whoever the new superintendent is,
Yeah.
so.
That is a very good point, because as you know, the superintendent by ed code is a member of the governance team. There's actually 6 members of your governance team, one being the superintendent, who actually serves as, quote, the secretary to the board, according to ed code.
Are there any others? Any other characteristics?
Did you want a quick review of what you just gave us?
Did you have something to add, Shelley?
I'm looking.
Okay, hold on. Shelley's looking to see
Nope,
if there's one.
I got it all.
Okay. All right.
So the next would,
Okay, here's what you said. You said, is a clear and concise communicator, is unafraid to approach subjects that might be problematic, will focus on the students, is hardworking and always available, is a visible leader, is a forward thinker within an equity lens, will embrace the demographics of the community, has a background as a teacher, and is collaborative with staff, is an effective leader, is someone who understands education, is a leader of people, is a person who understands the business of the district, is a strong leader with a focus on academics, is a person,
calm demeanor.
is a people person and empathetic, is able to grasp difficult situations, is a solutions person and able to handle difficult situations, is trustworthy and trusts others, is a patient communicator who takes an inquiry stand, is a courageous leader with confidence, has the ability to be a quick read on situations, is able to manage people and understands the value of human resources, is a person who knows that problems have a pathway to solutions, is a person who seeks consensus and acts in the best interest of the district, is a clear communicator who operates with transparency, integrity, and decisiveness, is able to understand the legal liabilities of the district, and will be a partner with the board. That's what I got to you.
Yeah, find that. Nice work.
There you go. You're looking for a rock star, guys.
Looking for a unicorn.
Right.
You'll get him.
So let's move on to district strengths. Things that you're proud about that we should let all the applicants know.
An amazing staff in this district. That keeps this ship running smoothly and
Team.
effectively.
Good team.
Good team. When I mean, you've got people here that wear different hats that they don't have to wear. They don't work in silos. I think a great example is Chris Carson. When it rains, he's at the sites.
With the facility
With the
people, he doesn't just
facility
call facility
Nope.
people and say, hey, go take care of it.
He goes.
They work together and
4 a.m. in the morning.
other staff come in to
Yeah.
backfill whatever needs.
Yeah. Teresa's a great communicator. Keeps us honest. Keeps us lined up. Organized. And I think that having
Julia-
a new leader come in,
I mean, the director of curriculum instruction is just always knowing what's out there and what's next and bringing, and
great staff.
great staff.
Okay.
I would say that the equity work that our district has done over the past 5 to 6 years, while it's been difficult, is engaged parents in new ways, has engaged staff in new ways, and has really become integrated with the entire mission and purpose. It's we're seeing it in the classroom in new ways, and that strength to continue to hold that and move that forward. I think has been a strength. I've seen it. It's in the curriculum. It's in the classroom. It's discussed when the parent-teacher student organizations are trying to create common budget formats. They're talking about equitable access to enrichment funds that they're raising. So that work has started from a kernel and is now being part of everything throughout the district.
Okay.
I'd say we definitely have caring, dedicated teachers and staff at our schools and our district office. I think they're amazing. I've had 2 kids going through our schools, and I'm so happy that they've had the experiences that they've had and the access to the education that they've had. I think that we're always trying to improve, and we are very student focused. I'm super proud of the Yes Foundation and the arts, music, and theater experiences our children have access to because of it. It's amazing the things that they are able to experience because we have that foundation and those programs.
Can I say something?
Yeah, of course.
Sorry, well, so sometimes I don't.
What are the strengths of the district? No, not interrupting, I'm done.
I do that sometimes.
What are the strengths of the district?
Strengths and
Strengths of the district. Overcoming major, unforeseen challenges. Charter school, COVID, children's center. Well, you don't have to say those 3 items, but those are 3 major things that we have overcome in the last challenges that our district had nothing to do with actually the work that we do at the district. They're just challenges. So able to really roll with, I don't know how you word that, but outside challenges, like huge amounts of time on things that have nothing to do with what we are supposed to be dealing with. I don't know how you word that, but it's quite remarkable what we've been able to navigate in regards to things that are outside our purview, standard purview.
Continue to focus on the students and teachers in the schools.
Anything else?
I'd say we have a passionate community that is both a blessing and something for the next superintendent to understand that people can get passionately engaged.
That's probably not just to us, right? I mean,
When I've talked to Marcy and she was like, we get emails and stuff that from countywide community organizations that other districts don't get.
so
they're
and it's community. I was going to say that the parents of the students are involved in their education. I believe that to be a strength. And I think they're coming at it from their unique lens with passion and love behind it.
Correct.
Right? And so I see not just the community, but I think the parents that are sending their kids to the district are a strength.
Yeah. And they're involved, and they want to create community with each other.
Yeah, they're engaged.
I think.
Do we bring up our equity lens work?
Yeah.
And again, the teachers.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just amazing, dedicated, above and beyond work that they do. So.
Okay.
Any others?
Probably.
We
can go back if you think of something. I can just put it
Our
back.
electricity keeps going off.
Well, we're not in challenges yet, are we?
Oh, we'll hit that right now. Challenges, and we can go back to sprints.
Got it.
If you think of something, we can put it back in here, or we can put it in here. Challenges?
Teacher pay.
Okay, yeah.
Or just
The
funding.
The fact that we are We are one of only 3 remaining LCFF state-funded districts in the county, surrounded by many other districts that are community-funded in a way that we are not. And so I think it creates a perception of something that is not our budget in this county.
Mhm.
I mean, in this particular district.
Another challenge would be on that teacher retention.
Yeah.
Right, I think it was Mr. O a couple weeks ago, like, yeah, I went back to my elementary school, high school, and there were still teachers that I had that are still here. That's amazing.
I remember that.
And so how do we retain our high quality teachers?
There's a lot to be said about the teachers that are still dedicated and love teaching here. And yet they can't afford to live here.
Even after they move out of the district.
Yeah, they still want to teach here. So how do we meet them?
Yeah.
That's a challenge.
Mhm.
Like, we see you, we want you here. How do we do that? That's a big challenge, and we've got to get creative, and we've got to be driven. That's a big challenge.
Mhm.
Hiring and retaining teachers of color. It's got to continue to be something we think about and put on the forefront.
It's just Utah just passed, like, made DEI illegal. I was reading.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Legal.
Illegal.
Oh, illegal.
Illegal.
Can't talk about it. Closing, DEI, or whatever. Sorry.
Off topic.
I think another challenge is holding both high academic standards and whole child social emotional awareness all together. Can be a challenge when you're.
Aging, outdated facilities that children can climb onto the roofs without any effort whatsoever, raising our liability for injury and lawsuits.
I'm just laughing because I can just totally relate to that one.
Yeah.
I was going to say aging
Let's
facilities.
make the roof 6 feet tall so you can climb up on top of it.
Yeah.
I would like to see somebody who's, well, I mean, I see a challenge that I could see somebody needing to deal with as being either needing parcel tax experience or like having
Yes.
gone through that process or a
Yes.
bond experience, something, because we're talking about funding and that's all tied together.
Absolutely.
So I can see that as being an upcoming challenge in the future. It may not be like next year or the year after, I don't know when, but I could see it in the near future.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure taxpayers are cringing right now when I say that, but.
I think one of the big challenges that we face is PR.
Tell me a little bit more about that.
I think we can do a lot better job of
Communicating.
getting out in front of our communications. I think we are,
We focus on the doing, not the talking about what we're doing,
yeah,
as
and
much
that's
as we
and
can.
I think that's kind of almost a disservice. I think we may communicate, unfortunately, in some ways too much, and it dilutes the important messaging from messaging. So finding a way to navigate a higher need communication versus an everyday communication. I think we have a challenge of truly building community trust. Despite amazing work and intention.
Anything else?
We have the big challenge of getting back to the business of our students instead of outside special interests. We've had a hard time focusing on our work. Because of so much other things going on.
Anything else? Okay. All right. Mark, you got all that?
I got it all.
Okay. So we're finished 11.
Good, thank you.
We need to do number 4. What's important for our next superintendent to know?
Which one?
What's important for our next superintendent to know? Is that
Oh, no,
That's a survey. We're doing
these
we're doing
those
those.
ones? Oh, okay. Sorry. Oh, sorry, because everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
So the only last thing is just, are there any other questions regarding the process and the procedures that we didn't answer? We try to answer as we went through each section, but if there's anything else that you didn't ask that you want to ask, this is the time.
How often will you be here?
I will, so that will determine like the, how we structure our
Group meetings?
partners, education partners.
Okay.
And so, for me, I can be here in person, so that's not an issue. So
Okay.
it'd be like those 3 days, but you may want me on Zoom. I don't know how it rolls out,
Okay.
but we'll talk about that. But, you know, in terms of that, you know, I'm here, available. So that's not an issue for me. Yeah.
In your experience, in both of your experience, if things go sideways, at what step do they go sideways? And how will we know?
So we'll be in communication with you. So for example, if we don't feel like we're getting enough support or input from the parents, we'll say, we'll reach out and say, can we set up another time? Can we do more Zoom calls? Can we extend the survey? So we'll constantly be telling you what we need if we're not getting it. But usually that's where I see it. You know, we're not just getting enough input, and we just need for you to either let us come back and can we extend it or something like that. But we'll let you know.
If something does go sideways and we need to extend it, we had talked about that last meeting, like May 1st, or pushing it back to May 29th.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll be in contact with
You'll
the
be
two.
in contact with the two to
liaison.
be able to say, okay,
Right,
great.
yeah.
So
But usually that's where I usually see things going crazy.
I have a question. Do you guys have the ability to have a local pool candidate that can be assessed faster or differently than other candidates? Like, is there a filter that we can try to look at people who are from here first to make this a simpler process, or do we have to just equal opportunity put it out there, or is there opportunity for someone to kind of open the doors before this process because they're local and may fit the qualities, or is that just a rise to the top of everybody else, or is it a standard that you
There'll
look
be
at in the
there'll be
criteria?
a time where you
Right.
can talk to us about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or is there a criteria that allows that to just give you a little bit of a bump in the tier, so to speak? Because one thing that we have here is really knowing the area. Not
Right.
that it's a prerequisite, but it sure does help us understand a lot more.
Right.
And your references are closer. And anyway, I don't know. I just thought of it.
Yeah, we'll get that. We'll have that. We'll get that from you.
Exactly. You're going to attract candidates that are local.
Mm-hmm.
You're also going to attract people that really want to move into that area. They know about you. They know about Marin County. It's a beautiful area, and they're going to want to move. Most of your candidates are going to be people that are in somewhat close proximity.
Yeah.
When I mean that, I don't mean next door in the district necessarily, but maybe in the northern part of the state, in the Bay Area, you're going to attract those. So
They're going
we
to rise
try
to the top because they're going to ask the questions.
you're doing an open service. We try to keep it, equal for everyone, but you're going to have an opportunity to be able to gauge some of these other characteristics. And when we vet the candidates, we'll take that into consideration as well.
Great, thanks. So I had a question. If, say, this says this whole proposed timeline is flexible based on board direction, if, we've set these timelines here and there's something that, you need to extend the deadline for the survey an extra couple of days or something, do you come to me and Daniel for that, or do you?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Just
Yes.
have an idea.
Yeah. We'll be able to do that. You don't necessarily want the survey going on and on and on. I mean, people are going to know the survey's out there. The longer it's out there, the longer it takes us to finish the position description.
Yeah. No, I just wanted to make sure that I knew what the steps are if some change had to be made. It doesn't, not necessarily the survey, but just an example.
Exactly.
All right,
Yeah.
great.
No, we can do that. And
Okay. Do we have any more questions for Donald or Mark? No? Anyone? Okay. So, you have a question?
I was going to say thank you.
Yes.
We have to go into closed session though.
Yeah, we still have to go. We have to take public comment first. So I wanted to give our audience member an option to speak if she would like to. Do you want to come up? Sure.
I'm going to sit in your seat with you.
Oh, the podium I think is.
Oh,
actually, no, Donald, the podium's set.
Okay.
Thank you. So just state your name and affiliation, and I guess you get 3 minutes.
Hi there, Kim Friedman, parent in the district. I have 2 kiddos at Wade Thomas Elementary. This is my second ever school board meeting, so this has just been really fascinating and interesting to listen. And then coming from a recruiting background, it's just been extra interesting. And first thing I just wanted to say is just a thank you for how thoughtful this process is going in terms of just really engaging with all members affiliated with the school district as part of this really important process. It made me feel really happy just to hear the multiple modalities in terms of how we can engage, whether it's parents or teachers, that we're being mindful of people's work schedules, and so scheduling various times of the day, surveys, etc. On the survey note, I'm really happy to hear it's extended because initially it was, I think, only for that week that we're off from school, and that might be hard for some families if they're traveling or what have you. And then I wanted to add in terms of one population I didn't hear, I don't think, come up, and maybe it's already just implicitly going to be covered in terms of various groups affiliated with the school district, special ed, SPED, and that whole community, and parents there. And then you all probably understand this, and maybe I just missed it. In talking about the flow of the hiring process, understand that the candidate will come here for a couple of days, and then hopefully there's one finalized. And one question in my mind is like, what if that doesn't happen? What if people don't agree, or there's not someone that's like that silver bullet? But the other is this element of potentially some representatives from the board going on site to their home visit. Does the district know that that person's looking, even though they haven't accepted a job yet? So that's just something that kind of percolated in my mind. And also curious if all the candidates, I guess I'll address to you because I'm not really supposed to be talking to you, but whether all the candidates, is it more like all inbound, or is there on behalf of the firm any direct outreach, like passive candidates and that kind of thing, is something I was just curious about, specifically around the budget and salary, and where some people may be precluded from putting in their name in the hat because they know the budget. I don't know if you guys do any direct outreach to people that are passively looking and perhaps could sell them on the opportunity without them necessarily ruling themselves out purely based on budget alone. And that's all I have. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right. So with that, it is, I think we have completed item C on our agenda, and we are going to move into closed session.
Thanks for coming.
Is there any public comment on the closed session? Would you have any public comment on the closed session agenda item, which is public employee appointment and employment discussion? No? No public comment? Okay. So there is no public comment, and so at 7:01 we will recess into closed session. All right, it is 7:24 and we are reconvening from closed session. There is nothing to report out from closed session. And with that, we move on to item E on our agenda, which is adjournment. So I will adjourn our meeting at 7:24.